All right, guys, I don't know if it's an early Christmas present or a late birthday present, but regardless, I'm not complaining because I got Moo Mesa. Hello everybody and welcome to another video brought to you by Wax Nostalgic Network. My name is Gary and today we are diving into a brand new toy line that was just released for one of my all-time favorite cartoons of the 90s. That is Wild West Cowboys of Moo Mesa. If you've been watching this channel for a while, then you know how much I love this franchise. Between the comic books that have recently released and just everything that Nacelle is doing right now, I am one happy camper. So 2 years ago, I guess it was, I placed an order for the first wave of action figures that they're doing, and I am happy to report that I now have them in hand, and I'm going to go through all three of them one by one and take them out of the packaging and let you know what I think. So let's get started with the first figure in the wave, Marshall Moo Montana. Okay, Marshall Moo Montana. You can sort of see behind the plastic wrap. I love immediately the color on the packaging. It is 100% an homage to the original toy line and the colors that they used on their packaging, and it's really reflective with this plastic, but all around I love the box. My immediate impression is I'm surprised how large these toys actually are, because they are big. And I guess I knew the scale when I ordered it, but I wasn't prepared for them to actually be this large. The back of the box says, Marshall Moo Montana, the cow-rageous and straight-shooting Marshal of Cowtown, rides tall in the saddle as the fearless leader of the Cowboys, alongside the Colorado Kid and Dakota Dude. With hooves planted firmly in justice and a heart tethered to the code of the West, Moo is the bravest law cow in all of Moo Mesa. He's always ready to wrangle rustlers, outlaws, and no-good varmints with the twirl of his golden badge shooting revolvers. Whether he's galloping across the mesa on his trusty steed Cyclone, tipping his hat to Lily Bovine while sipping sarsaparilla at the Tumbleweed Saloon, or laying down a soulful tune on his harmonica beneath the desert stars, this bull is the heart of the herd, dedicating his life to making Moo Mesa a safer place for every cow, calf, and critter to graze in peace. And he's got a Codes of the West. Keep your horn sharp and your heart honest. There's no honor in a fast draw if your aim is crooked. And a good bull listens more than he moves. We have Nacelle Toys logos, copyright 2025, etc., etc. Nacelle-verse characters, and then we have all three of the figures that are in the first wave pictured up here. But with no further ado, let's crack this baby open and take a look at the figure itself. Okay, here we go. Taking the figure out of the packaging, and I will say this is a solid figure because it's quite heavy. In it you can see that Moo comes with his mug of sarsaparilla, an alternate head showing his teeth, the harmonica, and it's two alternate hands, or two alternate right hands I should say, a rifle, pistols, blast effects with the star ammunition, handcuffs with a real chain, and then two left hands as well. So like a solid amount of stuff in this set. And let's remove the plastic up top. Well, nothing's taped in, so that's the first note. All right, so all of his accessories now being loose, let's take a look at Marshall Moo Montana. Now, Hasbro did do a line of toys back in the early 90s, and as cool as they were to me as a young kid, in hindsight, they look absolutely nothing like the characters did in the series. So it's nice to have a actually like series accurate representation of the figures, and I can tell you that like already I've just moved a couple of joints and everything seems to be loose and feeling good. The closest we've ever gotten to a series accurate Marshall Moo Montana before was in both a shampoo bottle, which was not posable, and in this toy, this little fast food premium from the early 2000s, I think? Late 90s, early 2000s. And so needless to say, this is a much more detailed figure. This almost looks like I'm doing a depth perception thing, but I'm not. They are literally side by side. So yeah, this is Marshall, and so far I'm getting pretty good movement from all the joints. His hands and everything are moving smoothly. Like this is a nice feeling figure, just in terms of it's not at all stiff or rigid. There's a little bit of a rigidness in the knees, but that's necessary for him to stand. And yeah, like everything feels good on this figure. His hat is removable, but it's got groove in it. Groove. So you know that it fits and sits nicely on his head. And I mean, you can move him all around. You can even flip him upside down and the hat stays on. This is Dairy Queen rules, guys. So let's see how swapping out the hands goes for him. We will give him a shooting hand. That popped out really nicely, actually. And the new one does not go in as easily, but oh no, it does. I was just doing it wrong. Yeah, so swapped out his hand, so now he's got a trigger, a gun-slinging hand, and the gun fits nicely in there. And so now he's got his weapon ready to pull it and show the bad guys that he means business. And like I said, it does come with blast effects, so you can actually slide those into the gun and have like an action shot of him firing the blaster. And I think that looks really good. We can also swap out the pistol with his rifle. Let's see how he holds that. Okay, well, this isn't going as well. I'm not sure if this is the hand that he's supposed to use for the rifle, but he's really not holding it well, unless he's supposed to hold it like this. Okay, yeah, maybe that's it. But it looks a little awkward the way he's holding it. It's like how they would walk in a video game, basically. But it is cool to see a rifle represented, and maybe once I play around with it a little bit more, I'll figure out a different hand that actually goes with this as opposed to the pistol hand. Let's try swapping out his head just to see how that goes. Pops off pretty easy. And the new one, I guess it's on. Yeah, it seems to be. And then we can just put the hat on the new head, and we have Dairy Queen gravity again, so that's good. Yeah, so this is him. This is a little bit more of a menacing face. I love the tuft of hair coming up that is molded onto the head, and the horns and everything just fits snugly and nicely. He also, as I mentioned earlier, comes with a mug of sarsaparilla. And I assume this hand is for holding that. And it looks like the hand holds it well. Just slide that on and Marshall can have his drink of choice. So here we go. We have Marshall with his gun and his sarsaparilla. And I do not recommend drinking sarsaparilla and firing guns. So we're going to instead swap out the gun with a harmonica, because drinking and harmonica-ing is way better than drinking and shooting a gun. So, yeah, that's your weird PSA from this video. But yeah, like all of the accessories, they seem to fit pretty nicely, and his guns do, it looks like, go into his holsters on each side of his body. And also it does come with a pair of cuffs, which I love that it has the metal chain in the middle. I don't actually know if this will fit around any character's hands. I don't think so, at least not in the first wave, but you know, it's a nice accessory for Marshall to have nevertheless. And there we go. This is a great figure, and let's move on to the next one, which will be Cowlamity Kate. Okay, next up we have Cowlamity Kate, and removing her packaging. Ooh, bubble wrap. so weird. I remember as a kid, whenever I was playing with the original Moo Mesa toys, my dad just had a spare thing of bubble wrap laying around, and that was one of the first times I remember just going crazy over a bunch of bubble wrap and just popping it. So weird connection that only probably applies to me. But let's read her bio. Cowlamity Kate. She is a cowgirl. Cowlamity Kate Cudster, the rootin' tootin' rancher of Moo Mesa, wrangles both cattle and outlaws with the grit and gumption of any cowboy on the range. As the operator of the utterly profitable Golden Cud mine, Kate's sharper than a cactus spine and twice as tough. With hooves trained in swordplay and shooting by none other than her legendary father, Colonel Cudster, her lasso skills can send even the Colorado Kid trotting back to the barn. Though she's got a soft spot in her heart for Dakota Dude, she's a true cowgirl of the West, with a fierce knack for outsmarting varmints and keeping Moo Mesa safe one hoof-stomping showdown at a time, especially with her cavalry-wrecking cattling gun. In her Codes of the West, a quick rope speaks louder than a crooked tongue. Don't start stampedes, but know how to finish them. Never milk a lie if you can lasso the truth. And this is what she looks like in packaging. Now, she comes with a lot of accessories, and I'm surprised that she was not a much higher premium price point than Marshall Moo Montana. And for that matter, Sheriff Terrorbull is even larger than this figure. But with no further ado, let's take her out of the box and check out all of her accessories. Man, she does come with a lot of stuff. As you can see, she's got an alternate head, a smaller mug of sarsaparilla. She's got a gun, a lasso, a sword, multiple hands, another, well, that's like a roped up lasso, and then a, extended lasso, another pair of handcuffs, and 2 guns. And she has spear guns. And on the back side is her cattling gun. So we're going to start by building that just so we can get that part of the process out of the way. Here it is in the packaging. I was wondering how it would come shipped because I knew it was part of the figure, but I wasn't sure exactly, to what end. So now we have the base of it, and we just need the gun itself, which is a substantial piece of plastic. All right, and it looks like it just sits right here on top of this. Ah, yes, okay. So there it is in all of its glory. It doesn't really move per se, but it does rest like that, and then it's got the crank. The weapons, or the bullets, I guess, are in this golden ammunition case up top, and then everything else just kind of sits there, and it is a pretty substantial piece to this playset. Okay, and here she is. She also has some pretty good range of movement, not experiencing any stiff joints or anything. And let's see, she rotates there. I love that she's got a little bit of like a rubbery goods coat, so it's a little less. It's a little more poseable than the rest of the clothing on her. It's not quite soft goods, but it's the next best thing. And her legs are a lot more mobile than Marshall's. But yeah, like all in all, solid toy. And I like how poseable she is too. I think she's got a little more range of motion in her feet as well. And then her hat also is removable, but thanks to the grooving system that they've got, which is excellent in my book, it does stay on her head, but there she is without the hat on. This is her standard face. She does have an alternate face with teeth showing, like a smiling face. There's that face. I think it looks pretty good, all things considered. Yeah, I like this figure a lot. Let's take a look at her gun. She's got like a spear gun. Well, I guess it's like a rope gun, because you can see the recoil of the rope there. And then it's got a little spear. And yeah, that's a cool gun. So I'm going to swap out some hands. Her hands are, or her body in general is a lot smaller, so that means that the little peg that fits into the arm is smaller, but it seems to be sturdy nevertheless. And so there she is with her sarsaparilla. And as I'm learning throughout this episode, I've always called it sarsaparilla, but when I was reading the box, I saw that there's an R. It's sarsaparilla, and that has been throwing me off this whole video. So normally I don't say sarsaparilla, so weird, but here we are. She also has her sword, which fits into this hand and probably multiple other hands, but I think it looks really good. It's a nice sort of buccaneer style sword, and it does remind me of the old Hasbro toy line quite a bit. One of the characters had a sword, and she was not included as a figure because the 90s didn't like girl toys. So she, it's nice to have her in this first wave, and it's nice to finally have a figure of her. All right, so here she is ready for action. She's got her gun holding hand, which honestly I think does hold the gun really well as the sword. And I think that all in all, she looks really good. And yeah, she also comes with a smaller pair of handcuffs than Marshall's. And she comes with a rifle that looks equally cumbersome to hold, but let's see if we can figure it out. My guess is that actually hers fits a little bit better than Marshall's does, because it fits tightly in her hand like that, so she can actually hold it pretty well. And yeah, the only thing that's really missing from this set, and it's not really a knock on it, is like a blast effect of some sort. But since she's got a rope gun or like a spear gun, it's not necessarily practical. But just like with Moo, her guns do go into her holster, and it's got a cutout at the bottom, so the spear piece does not get damaged whenever you put it into the holster for her. She has this great lasso accessory, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure which hand we're supposed to use that for, but it looks pretty good to me. One note that I have though is just by putting that rifle in her hand one time, there's already some scuffing on her hand, and I don't love that. It's just a little alarming that the paint would scuff that easily. Still, there's plenty of other hand accessories if you do scuff one. So no real notes on this. I think it's a great toy, and we've got one more to go, and that's the big bad of this series, Sheriff Terrorbull. So we'll dive into him next. Okay, Sheriff Terrorbull. Let me get him out of the box, and goodness gracious, he's heavy. I need help. Ugh. Okay, this is Sheriff Terrorbull. This is a big box, guys. This is one of the big bads of Wild West Cowboys and Moo Mesa. He was in the original figure line, but he did not look series accurate at all. But yeah, like, to put it into comparison, here's Marshall's box. Here's his. Like, this is a substantially heavier figure, and it's chunky, and yeah, like I said, it's heavy. Before we open it up, we gotta read the back. Here we go. Sheriff Terrorbull, a downright evil heap of sirloin with a temper hotter than a branding iron, casts a long menacing shadow over Cowtown. With his horns always pointed toward trouble and a glare that could curdle milk, this greedy bull is as low down and mean-spirited as they come. As the so-called law of Cowtown, he takes orders straight from the corrupt Mayor Oscar Bologna, using his badge not to protect, but to swindle, intimidate, and stir chaos, with a little help from his henchmen, Boot Hill Buzzard and Saddle Sore Scorpion. This scoundrel has an uncanny resemblance to the infamous Masked Bull, and equally despises Marshal Moo Montana with every bone in his bull-headed body. This bully is 100% bad beef. Codes of the West for him. He doesn't have Codes of the West. He's a bad dude. The loudest bull gets the biggest pin. A crooked badge still shines in the right light. Always holster your temper before your pistol. So yeah, let's crack this guy open. And he doesn't come with a Gatling gun or anything like that. So literally the entire space of this is him. So yeah, goodness gracious. This is a huge toy. There he is in all of his glory. He comes with large handcuffs, a huge shotgun. It looks like a blast effect for the shotgun, or for his two little green guns up here. On the back side, oh, he's got an alternate head. So he's got like a grimacing head and a smiling face. And then on the back side, he's got two whips, a stick of dynamite, 4 hands, and a huge cup of sarsaparilla. So let's go ahead and separate these pieces. It's in 3 layers. And this one does have tape, so that's interesting. And we're talking like thick pieces of tape too. So it's kind of wild that some have it, others don't, but whatever, it is what it is. So let's check out his range of motion. He's definitely a little stiffer than the other two have been, but all of his joints seem to be working. I love the particular color of green of his vest. Like, I just think it looks so nice. The paint app on his eyes looks great. I love that he has this neck piece, which is straight out of the Wild West. And he's got his badge, and his belt is like designed a little crooked. He does have a little less movement in his torso, but that's understandable. He doesn't have the uppercut so that he can move, you know, the top part of his torso. His hat just fits right on his head. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, it does have the same effect as the others, so that's pretty nice. So we've got this face, and then we have his alternate. Wow, look at that. We have his alternate laughing evil face. And now let's take a look at his accessories after we see how this hat fits on the alternate head. Yeah, fits nicely. I will say though, again, continuing to see like minor scuffing issues, but it is what it is. I don't think I'm going to be banging these toys together too much. But if you have kids and you're considering them for them, I do worry that paint may rub off of them sooner than later. But let's take a look at his accessories. So he has the double whips, which I think are pretty cool. I guess they can more or less just go in this hand, and he can whip them. Let's swap out his hand. I do love that he comes with alternate hands, both gloved and ungloved. So you have his 2 right hands here, and you have his 2 left hands here. So it is nice that they gave us that option for both. He can hold the handcuffs well, and I am certain, as I said earlier, that these cuffs, I mean, they're too big actually, but you can put them on Marshall Montana because of his drinking sarsaparilla and shooting in the air. It's just not appropriate. Got to live by the code of the West, you know. So let's swap out one of his hands. Okay. And then pop in this one, and looks pretty good with the whip. Pretty cool. Let's take a look at his guns. So there he is with his guns, and they do come with blast effects, so you can actually have smoke rising out of them like they've just recently been fired, which I guess isn't technically a blast effect, but it's still a pretty cool effect nevertheless. I think that just looks neat. There's a lot of good detailing on this figure. You can see like his fur and all of that, and the guns, like with everyone else, do fit into the holster. And just like with the other two, he comes with a large sized sarsaparilla. Just to put it in perspective, you know, we definitely have like a small, medium, and large whenever it comes to the drinks of these characters, which I find kind of funny. It's like going to a Starbucks in Cowtown. But yeah, this is the figure, and I think he looks amazing. I love his stick of dynamite. Lastly, we have his gun, or his rifle, and he does hold it kind of awkwardly. There's a chance that maybe there's a better hand for this, but I couldn't find one. It's a big gun, but compared to the rest of him, it doesn't look too outlandishly large. A couple of notes on him, though. He is the hardest to pose. I've struggled with that in between cuts in this video. And his head, like just the way that the neck joint is, it does not stay up very well. So with years of use, I'm pretty sure he's just going to wind up looking down all the time. But for now, he as long as he's not shook too hard, he does hold his neck up at a pretty decent place. And yeah, this is a pretty freaking cool toy. So cheers. All right, that is going to wrap up this video. Whenever these were announced, I thought, I hope it happens, because Nacelle was still sort of new in the game at that point, and due to some other things that I've been waiting on for a while now, I've kind of grown cautious and skeptical of pre-orders and things of that nature. But Nacelle delivered. They did an amazing job on these toys. The whole team, the sculpting team, Brian Volk-Weiss, you know, for acquiring the rights and putting it together, and then making sure that these figures were caliber and getting them to us in like a decently timely manner. They have already announced 2 figures from Wave 2, which is going to be Colorado Kid and Dakota Dude. The second wave of Biker Mice figures went from 3 figures in the first wave to like 5 or 6 in the second wave. So my hope is that we see more figures that are going to be included in Wave 2. I'm hopeful that this series gives us everyone eventually, and they could probably give us the majority of the characters in like 4 or 5 waves tops. But like, I would love to see Saddlesore and Boot Hill Buzzard. I would love to see Sheriff Terrorbull's alter ego, the Masked Bull. Mayor Bologna, he never got a figure back in the day. I'd love to see Lily Bovine and Cody Calf and maybe a 2-pack, because they're both smaller figures and could work in that way. Or like, just give us like some more obscure characters like 5-Card Cut or Geronimo. Like, I'm all for whatever you want to bring, so long as the quality stays the same. I did have a few notes on these, like one, Marshall Moo Montana's hat flew off and I can't find it anywhere, but that's more my fault than the company. 2, they do not have any sort of holes cut into their feet. So if their balance was off, which I've not experienced it with any of these 3, but for characters with smaller feet or, you know, a little less stable, we might run into some issues. But outside of that, like, I don't really have any notes besides the lack of holes in the feet and then the scuffing that I've been seeing on some of the figures and accessories. But, you know, it is what it is. These are great toys, and considering the price point, really not that bad. I mean, I think they're 35 to 40 each. That's quality for the quality figure that we're getting from Nacelle. So that's going to wrap up this video. I love these. I'm so happy that they're here. This is making young Gary super happy. And yeah, I can't wait for Wave 2. I hope they reveal more stuff soon, and that they, you know, get those to us as soon as possible, because I just want to keep building on this collection. Did you get these figures? How have yours turned out? Do you like them? Have you noticed the scuffing thing? Because like that feels like something that I'm being pretty gentle and it's still happening. So my concern is with anyone who plays a little rougher, that these may not last, at least the paint apps may not. And the paint apps are so beautiful, so I don't want to see them get messed up. Thank you guys for watching. I'll be back, but in the meantime, don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and don't forget to stay nostalgic. Later, guys.